Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me here on Facebook Live. My name is Nicole Carpenter. I am the Director of Programs and Education here at the Westport Museum for History and Culture. Welcome to our Tuesday Treasure. This is our weekly collections highlight where I take you through some of the artifacts in the museum's collections that you don't get to see very often. Before we get started this evening, we do, as always, thank you so much for tuning in, and we always thank you for your continued support. If you would like to support us in the future, we do have a suggested donation for our free programs of $5. Helps the museum keep going during this time. We understand it is hard right now, so if you will support us in any way you can, we appreciate that. That also includes following us on social media. On Facebook and Twitter, you can follow us at Westport History, and on Instagram at Westport History Museum. If you give us a follow and a like on those platforms, you'll be able to see when we are doing other programs just like this. And our programming is always free. So tonight, our Tuesday Treasure is called I Spy, and we are going to be taking a look at eyeglasses, spectacles, and other items used to see, or to enhance the vision, I would say. I, tonight, am wearing my contact lenses, so that is one form. Unfortunately, we do not have any of those in the collection. But I thought before we started to take a look at the items that I have chosen for you tonight, that I would give you a brief history, as I normally do in our programs. So the history of spectacles is debated among historians. There are many cultures that claim to have been the original inventors of glasses. China and the English have a long history of using glass and other materials to see, but it is very widely agreed that the first known pair, or probably the originators of glasses, are most likely the Italians, sometime in the 13th or 14th century. The date ranges somewhere between 1260 and 1300. What is agreed upon is one of the first figures in the development of glasses. There was an English friar named Roger Bacon in the 13th century who began work on his Opus Magnus, which is released in 1266. And in this, he theorizes and lays the scientific basis for lenses. There is no evidence that he actually created a prototype or a working pair of spectacles, but he is partly responsible for outlining the design of glasses that would come. And he was working out of Paris as well. What we do know has a very, very long history are sunglasses, actually. There is something called IGAC, and this is the first pair of sunglasses that's created by indigenous peoples that are near the Arctic Circle. There are many, many examples of this in museums around the world, in Canada and Greenland and other places around the Arctic. And I'm actually going to point our camera down at this point to show you what an IGAC, or to demonstrate what it would look like. Unfortunately, we do not have one in our collection, but I can explain a bit better by showing you the pieces of some glasses. So, IGAC are the first sunglasses. I'll show you over here on this pair, if I scoot them up just a bit so you can see them. So on glasses such as these, we recognize these as spectacles, and we know the lens, the metal frame here, the nose piece, or the bridge. With IGAC, this would all be one piece, and it would be made of either wood or bone. So there would be no lenses or nose piece or anything like that, just a solid piece that had been shaped roughly for the face. And there would have been slits in the middle here that would have allowed the wearer to see. There would have also been hide straps or some other woven material that would have attached behind the head and allowed it to be worn. And IGAC was used to protect the wearer from water or snow glare, and these are, again, widely known to have been used. Spectacles, as we know them, don't come into use until the late 14th and the early 15th century. If you look at this pair over here, this is very, very close to the shape of these early glasses. Unfortunately, these are not a pair of 15th century glasses. That would be amazing. But they do resemble those glasses. These early pair of spectacles would have been called Rivet Spectacles, and they actually would have been on a hinge so that you could pull the two lenses apart. And where that hinge met, they would sit on the nose. Now, Rivet Spectacles were not meant to rest on the bridge of the nose. They actually would have been held to the face. It's not until the 17th and the 18th century that we see spectacles, as we know them, coming to the population. These spectacles here are a bit later. These, actually, all of the pieces that we see here tonight are from the 19th century, except for one pair, which we'll go over a bit later. And they, almost all of them, or I would say a majority of them, these pieces, are meant to be perched on the nose. Glasses that are meant to be worn perched on the nose like this are actually called pince-nez, which literally means pinching the nose. And those really come into invention and popularity during the 19th century. The first piece that I thought we would take a look at tonight are these pair here. I am going to put on my gloves. Again, our frequent viewers will know that I am wearing gloves to protect our objects from the oils in my hands. Give me just one moment. This first pair that we're going to look at is in a leather case. It's actually leather around metal. And on the inside of this case, you see this really lovely green velvet. It is a bit more vibrant in person. Think more of a almost a pool table green. But that helps to protect the glasses. The actual glasses themselves, it's a bit hard to see on my gloves like that. We'll hold them here. That's a bit easier. These glasses have gold frames. They, again, are this pince-nez form where here on the bridge of the nose they would be perched. These also have a hook over here on the side, if you can see them. There we are. This little hook would actually be connected to a chain or a ribbon that could be placed in the pocket, or it might have been wrapped around a button and it would have held your glasses in place. This pair of glasses was worn by a man named Edward Turner, and they are from the 1880s. The other thing that the case tells us about these glasses, if we look on the back side of them, we can actually see the makers of these glasses. And these glasses were originally sold by G.W. Fairfield and Sons, which is a jeweler and optician out of Bridgeport. If you look down here in the corner, you will actually see that they are established in 1865. They begin their operation as G.W. Fairchild, which stands for George Wilson Fairchild. Within 10 years, his sons have joined the business, and they changed their name. These glasses you can also see on the lenses, just briefly, you can see that they are bifocals, that they have these two layers of lens. The next pair is also another pair of these pince-nez glasses, and they also come in a very, very similar case. It is a leather wrapped around metal, but these are significant in two ways. So these glasses do not have a frame around the outside, so you can see it is just the lens. And also, as I put my glove behind there, you can see that these lenses are tinted. These are a true pair of sunglasses, and these are from around the same period of the 1880s or 1900s. A really beautifully preserved, in excellent condition pair of sunglasses. The next pair that I thought we would look at are these. Another pair of pince-nez glasses. They also have the hook here for a chain or a ribbon. A bit wider, more circular lens on these, but you can also see the decoration on this pair here on the kind of chain holder or the ribbon connector, and also on the top of these glasses. I'm not sure how well you can see that detailing, but there is very intricate kind of scroll work happening there. These probably would have been a more expensive pair of glasses with the decoration that you see. And we also have the original case, which is a bit different when compared to the other two cases that we looked at. This is made of a brown leather, and it is manufactured, if you can see here, the true or the original sellers of the glasses were M. Oppenheimer's sons, and they operate out of Brooklyn. These spectacles are, again, from around that same period, the 1890s, so right around the same time as these sunglasses. The next pair that we will look at are from that same period. Another pair of men's glasses. These also have the hook over here on the side for a ribbon or chain. But these glasses, if you can see at the top, they're actually made of two different materials. So the bridge here is made out of a very thin metal. And then the lenses here are made from tortoise shell. So these are probably also another a bit more expensive pair of glasses at the time because of their material. Tortoise shell is very sought after, but very expensive. Up here at the top, we see a different style of men's glasses. So these two pairs, these are both from the 19th century. Again, probably around the same period as the rest of the glasses that we've looked at tonight, 1880s, 1890s. These are probably from the same era. But these are probably a bit more economic, an economic choice for glasses. They are made of just a plain metal. They do not have any decoration. They do see that more traditional style of glasses where they do have these two temples, but they do have one unusual feature. They are also extremely thin, but the part that I thought you would enjoy seeing is the temple, if you can see it here, actually extends. So it actually has a hinge in the middle here so that it extends out just like that, and it comes to this little loop here at the end like that. There we go. That's a bit better. Where it rests on the ear. Very convenient to travel or to take them anywhere. They're extremely thin. They also came in a very unusual case. So this is its case here, and this is a full metal case. There is no leather wrapped around the outside. Another indication this is probably a bit more economic of a choice. It does have the velvet lining on the underside to protect the glasses from the metal. And it comes in this unusual shape of almost a cigar box, but also in very good condition. The other pair of men's glasses that we have here that also have temples, this is made of more of a copper material, and you see it has a bit different of a bridge design. It's much more curved. It has this very exaggerated curve here in the middle, and it has a bit more of a square lens All of the other glasses that we've seen have been a bit more round. And this also has an interesting feature on its temples on these sides. This does not have a hinge, but it has a sliding mechanism that actually allows the temple to become much, much longer. So it also is a much easier pair of glasses to travel with. Unfortunately, we do not have the case for these glasses anymore, but they are really very lovely. All of the glasses that we've looked at tonight have been men's glasses. The one pair of women's glasses that we have are also the oldest pair of spectacles we have in our collection. They are not complete. They are missing part of their lens and also one of their temples. So you can see this does have just a normal extendable temple. It does not have, it does not have an extendable section on the side as the last two pairs that we looked at. But this does have an unusual feature that the lens, the frame here is actually 10-sided. It was designed to actually have these straight sides, which is very unusual. Again, these are also a pair of women's glasses. These are also the oldest glasses we have in our collection. These are from the 1790s. Besides spectacles or eyeglasses tonight, I have two other pieces that have a relation to sight and magnification and seeing. And one of them is here in the middle of the table. This is made in France. And this is from the same period as our glasses over here on the side from the 1880s. And this is a magnifying glass. This is a case that is actually specifically made for this magnifying glass. You can see it has ridges here to support it. And it is lined in this very, very fine silk on top and velvet on the bottom. This magnifying glass has decoration along the handle here. Some really wonderful decoration. And then also on the top as well. And it is a magnifying glass, as you can see through the lens. It does have, as you can see, a bit of wear there in the middle, but still remarkably clear today. And again, this magnifying glass is from the 1880s, and it is actually manufactured in France. And it does have a latching mechanism on its case as well to protect it if you were to move around. The last piece that we are going to look at tonight is a really magnificent example of 1920s and 30s magnification. And this is a pair of opera glasses. So these opera glasses, as you can see, have this wonderful kind of gold color in the middle. Both the eyepieces and the decoration along the opera glasses themselves is made of mother of pearl. And it does have a gear here in the middle to adjust the length of the eyepiece and the magnification. Again, these are from the 1920s or 30s, and these actually come from the estate of Helen Chasen, who was among the first female real estate agents in Westport. Those were donated to the museum by a family member after her passing. Those are all of the pieces that I have to show you this evening. If you have any questions about any of our pieces, if you'd like to see them a bit closer, feel free to put that in the comment box over to the side or below. Next week, we are going to take a look at Civil War related items. I have a couple of artifacts and also a piece of costumery to show you. I am going to lift you up now. If you would like to see any of the other pieces in more detail, I am happy to show those to you as well. it is exciting. David actually mentions that he has a pair of his great-grandfather's eyeglasses, and it is very common for glasses to survive, especially from the 20th century. We see lots of cases of glasses that follow the typical shape of a frame with a lens and a temple with a hinge. It's much rarer to see older pairs of glasses. These glasses that we see in the 14th and 15th century are extremely delicate, extremely rare, and usually tend to be not utilitarian pieces, not pieces that people would have been wearing. They were much more ornamental pieces, but we do see the technology, and it helps us track when these glasses were actually in circulation. I see lots of people enjoying our program. I'm so glad that you are having fun, that you're finding it interesting. Someone from New Hampshire, welcome. Thank you so much for tuning in. Someone says the magnifying glass is gorgeous, and it really is. It's really beautiful. I love that it has this lovely case, and then it has all of this wonderful detailing. And you can see the 1880s is a time when the Greek Revival style is coming back, and you can see some of that work up here at the top. There are actually some false columns, ionic columns detailing up there at the top. That whole handle really does mimic a column, and it's really beautiful. Very iconic style of that time. And even the case, here actually let me set the magnifying glass down for just a moment. Even the case, if you look at it a little bit more closely, has some really nice detailing along the edges there. It is a bit worn from use, but some really lovely detailing along the sides in that gold, almost floral pattern. And do feel free to share this video. It will be up after we end our live stream tonight, but it will be available to view later on. I see Susan has been sharing it with some friends. Definitely take a look and tune in for some of our history. Again, we're here every week at 6 o'clock for our Tuesday Treasure, and we do very often have other programs that we either stream or post on our Facebook later, including our chats on the past. Actually, this Friday, we will be speaking with Sarah Krasny, who works here at the museum with me. She's our archivist, and she's going to be speaking about our new Images of America Westport book, where we discuss this book that's coming out, but get to see some of the photographs from Westport's history that are just amazing to see. We do have a question here from Cheryl, and she asks, did people go to an eye doctor during the 1800s to get these glasses? I am not overly familiar with the history of eye care, but we do know that people are going to see eye doctors. They might not have been specialists. There certainly were people who were specializing in treatment and things like that. And we know very famously of people like Benjamin Franklin creating glasses and doing things like that. It is in the 19th century that we see the distinction of different strengths of lenses. Before this, lenses they're differentiated between young and old. I apologize for that terminology. It really was glasses designed for a person of advancing years and then for younger people, but that was really the only distinction that they had. It was one of the two types, and that was what you had, until there was more specialization in lens strength and correcting both nearsighted and farsighted, so that you weren't just treating everyone with the same type of thing. The glasses that we see here because they are in the 1880s and the 1890s, you would be seeing someone to give you this lens prescription. I'm not overly familiar with the process, whether it was a prescription that you took to a seller such as these. They are, again, on the cases, we can see that they are actually listing themselves as optometrists. So they may have been fitting you to their glasses, but again, I'm not overly qualified in that particular area. I would love to look into that a bit more, and maybe I can get back to you on that process of how you would actually be prescribed these glasses. And thank you, David, for always sharing our videos. I appreciate that. We do our best to bring you these kind of interesting highlights every week. If you do have an idea for a video that you would like to see, if you're curious about something in our collection or you have a topic that you would like to know more, please do comment. Send any of our staff an email. My email is programs@westporthistory.org. You can find that on our staff page on our website. We're always more than happy to hear suggestions. Last week's video on weddings was actually a suggestion during one of our programs and was very interesting to research. We knew that we had a large collection, and it was fun to show everyone that collection of textile collections. So I think that is all of the questions that we have for tonight. If you think of anything that you're curious about after this is posted, my staff and I do monitor these videos in the comments, so if you have a question, please do post it. We will get back to you, and we will post it here for everyone to see the answer to as well. So thank you so much for tuning in. Again, next week we will be looking at Civil War-related items and items of the 1860s, so tune in at 6 o'clock next week. Until then, have a great evening, and thank you so much for joining me.